Welcome back. I am Monica. I should have some sound on that. Yeah. Welcome back. I am Monica, your facilitator for a basic hypnosis training program. I asked you to do a little bit of writing and to come up with a purpose for your being here, and then to fill out a focus of intent with my keyword for what I'm here to do today, and sharing with you hypnosis and hypnotherapy training skills to improve some aspect of your life for the better. And then I wrote around the edges of it the kind of things that could possibly happen to interfere. This allows my conscious mind to unload all of those fear. Who does that acronym? Is it the Unity Church? FEAR, false evidence appearing real. So we could choose to focus on the things that can hold us back, or we can focus on the center of our goal, and that's found in the back of your hypnosis training manual. This free assignment, I'm going to cover very briefly the history of hypnosis and what hypnosis is. Chapter 101, what is hypnosis? We don't really know, but the word itself comes from the Greek word hypnos, and it pertains to sleep, the god of sleep. What you will be learning with this course about yourself and those around you is that hypnosis is not something that you do when you sleep at night. It's something you find yourself doing naturally when you learn, when you function at peak performance, when you have a heightened awareness. Only a very small percentage of people who practice hypnosis report having no conscious memory, although many people report that as they move further away from a hypnosis experience, it becomes more and more difficult to recall with a conscious mind. Now, a hypnotic experience is familiar to any person who has gotten that sense of being bigger than what's inside a skin, for example, with a sporting performance in a team, a military activity again in a team, an academic performance, a political event. There are many musical experience, an investment in a live performance as an audience or as a participant. Anything in which you have had an experience of feeling bigger than the edges of your skin is hypnotic. We tend to come together and toast to each other, and every time you see me with the glass, you'll notice that you have a greater understanding of how suggestion affects you. Wet and delicious. And if your mouth just got a little wet as I said that, you are suggestible. How about this one? Wait, this is almost rude to do, but I must do it right away. No, not that one. This one. Oh, oh gosh, I'm going to do it several times now. Because once I start, oh, it's hard to stop. Yeah. I'm almost done, but there's another one in there. I'm not completely done yet. And if you had any kind of urge to respond with another yawn, it's because you are suggestible. What does that mean? Well, as humans, we have mirror neurons that fire in our brains. And that old saying of monkey see, monkey do, really, a study was done with monkeys. And they had leads wired in their head, and people monitoring, and some monkeys were in cages and closed, and some monkeys were allowed to play or do whatever they were doing the monkeys do, and the monkeys in the cages had the same parts of the brain firing that the monkeys being active had firing in their brains, even though the monkeys enclosed were only watching. So we do tend to go toward that which we prefer, and if it's something that we admire, we tend to emulate it. First, the neuronal firing happens. The mirror neurons. I can do it. Oh, yeah, that person could do it. I know I can do that. In fact, I can probably do it even better, which is what I expect you to do with all of the hypnosis skills that I offer you, the things I have inside me. I hope to embed in your heart, your mind, your soul in such a way that you stand upon my shoulders and you transcend me and come back and show me amazing things to surprise and delight me. Yes. So in those moments when you have athletic or creative performance, those moments, oh, those feelings, that breakthrough creativity, a feeling of transcendence, excellence in performance, and a sense that it's something bigger than us moving through us, that we're a part of something. Yeah, there's a thinking stuff from which the universe is made. It is always creative and never competitive in spirit. Those things you dwell upon in your mind tend to come to you. Be very careful how you choose your mind, because those things you dwell upon, whether they are at the center of your focus of attention, your intent, or they are all the distractions that can hold you back, whatever you dwell upon, you will attract to you. Why? Because you'll notice it. It'll be like a magnet. It's time to get really clear on how you focus your mind. When people come to you because they're stuck, it's because their frame of reference is very limited. All the information that you need is inside you, and you've just forgotten to take a look closer now. It's all right to remember to forget the things you don't need to remember, and to remember the things that you need right now, so that you can make better decisions about every aspect of your life. Most importantly, what you've picked as your focus of intent for today. Now, some people, they'll come to see you with a whole shopping list. Yes, I can write out a whole page of things I want to do today, and we're going to do more of that. And then we want to pick one thing, which may mean, oh, the most important thing, or maybe a little thing to see if it really works. Does hypnosis work? Is that a funny question? Does your brain work? Well, does your mind work? Well, maybe. Maybe it's working perfectly. Maybe you have yourself in the kind of trance that gets you exactly what you're thinking right now. In fact, I'll bet it does. So the purpose of basic hypnosis is to become aware of how you're talking to yourself, how you're framing your world, and then how do we expand that so that you can become aware of all these options around you that perhaps you weren't noticing because you were so fixed on your cultural, family, and personal trance. Yes, that's right, I said it. You're in trance right now. You've been in trance since the day you decided to get up and walk. Started talking. Oh, that's your language trance. And then you had to learn to use stairs, and pretty much you conquered them, run up, run down, unless you've hurt yourself and you had to learn how to handle the stairs again. Maybe you get back to leaping a two or three at a time, and maybe you don't. And maybe one day you learned how to tie your shoe, and maybe it took a long time, and maybe you had it just like that. I don't know your style of learning, but you do. And anecdotally, we say 30, 30, 30, 10. And we look to see, where do I fit in? 30% get it in one session. Done. 30% take 2 to 6 sessions. I told you, you take your time, you want to know something. Some little bit of problems, and then it's done to you. By you, for you. And here's to you and all those things that you do. From here to there are those really slow people, and I'm one of those. Yeah, I may talk fast, but I turn slow. Meaning, when I make a plan, when I notch my bow and draw my arrow and make my release and reach toward my target, I do my best to hit my mark. I prefer to be a good archer, an excellent marksman. If I'm looking through a microscope, I'm looking to get smaller, smaller, smaller. That's called chunking down. We're looking at details. And perhaps I want to take a look with a telescope, and go bigger, bigger, bigger in time, space, and that's called chunking up. And those are things we do in more advanced classes to become more aware of how you're using your words to focus your mind upon the details or the big picture, how you're limiting yourself, how you're framing your reference to notice which parts of your world are going on. It's all going on simultaneously. Roses and thorns, they're happening at the same time. Pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain. They're happening at the same time. Which do you want to use right now? And we're all innocent in our actions. There's still prices to pay for them, so perhaps we need to do that cognitive behavioral thing of, what am I thinking? What am I thinking I want? And how does that make me feel? And is that what I really want? And how do I know when I've got it? What do I see, hear, feel, smell, and taste? Not what do I think it is, but what does my body wisdom, and yes, I believe the body is wise. So let's talk about body wisdom for a moment. Old brain, newest brain. Yeah, three brain theory. It's a little bit different from the triune brain of the neocortex and the mammalian brain and the reptilian brain with its brain stem connecting to the nervous system, which goes out to my periphery, and proximo-distal development, which happens from the inside out. I like it. No, I'm talking an older brain, like all those, oof, okay. Here comes some of my paradox. I am a spiritual monist. I believe all things come from the divine. I also assume scientifically that we have an evolutionary purpose with punctuated equilibrium in growth and development. We rise and plateau, rise and plateau. Well, that's kind of an oscillating curve. I could go moving away from something and say we aspire and then we fall back, and we aspire and then we fall back. And this oscillating pattern that goes up and down across a baseline of positive and negative is called a moving away from pattern. It means I'm looking over my shoulder at the things I'm trying to get away from instead of dwelling upon that which I desire. And I think the only place that might work in war is when you start in the Kazaki steppes, where the power of woman in war is equal to a man because she has a horse and a bow, and she can turn and shoot behind her while still escaping on a horse. We're not at war unless you are, and sometimes there are parts inside the head who don't agree with our plans. Man, like mom's words in our head, or God's words in our head, or our preacher's words in our head, or the teacher said I have to do this in order to pass this class. We all have responsibilities, and that's just the ability to respond at this moment. And everybody's different, and so 30% of the people get it in one session, 30% of the people get it in 2 to 6 sessions, 30% of the people are very slow, stubborn. That's me. How about you? Do you move quick? Are you a go fast boat, turn fast, or are you an ocean liner? Take your time, really stubborn, can't turn fast, want to know something, have a big goal in mind. Yeah, I'm an ocean liner. I have long-term plans. And then there's 10% of the people that I just can't help right now because they don't want it. How about that? And so hypnosis, as you're learning it with me, is a humanistic, client-centered approach in which I assume that you know exactly what you're here for. And it's my job to reflect back to you what I hear you telling me. And then we polish yourself so that you aim yourself truly on that which you desire instead of oscillating away from and falling back into. You start moving with a punctuated equilibrium or punctuated evolution, which allows you to rise and then have a little wobble on the tread and then rise to aspire to another goal. That is what this goal is about. We move toward that which we desire, and we're right back to Thoreau. We tend to hit that at which we aim. What are you aiming for today? Hypnosis is a familiar state. You encounter it when you come from waking to sleep, and that's called hypnopompic, from waking to sleep. No, that's wrong. Hypnagogic is entering sleep. Returning to waking state from sleep is hypnopompic. Yes, I can confuse myself. Some people pass through the state very quickly. They don't even notice that wonderful feeling of lethargy, or the neighbor's coffee. I can smell it, and the toast, scorched. Yeah, could you bring me over a cuppa? Some people pass through very slowly or seek it deliberately. I do. I'm a hypnotist. I've been using hypnosis since I was young, before puberty, so that I could study better, have good grades, and I did. And so can you if that's something you're of interest to. So That place called hypnosis, where else do we find it if it's natural? Hmm? Meditation, prayer, sports, creative outlet. Sports is really important because of the expansion beyond the edges of one's skin and into the team. So hypnosis is a natural state, and you've been in it many times. If you've driven a car, perhaps you can recall driving from one side of town to the other and not remembering all the roads you passed. Why? Nothing happened that required your immediate attention or alertness. You drove naturally and automatically and safely and got there intact. Maybe you've gotten on your way and realized you forgot where you were going. Oh, you find yourself at the library and you thought you were going to the grocery store for some eggs. Or perhaps you were thinking so deeply upon another thought that you passed a very familiar exit on the highway in that highway trance. It was your exit right there, yeah. So there are times when you do things in trance automatically and time passes quickly. This is my theoretical assumption on why time changes so quickly as we get older. When we're children, we stand before it. What do you have? What do you got? Show me. And 100% of our attention is present upon whatever it is we're doing. I'd like you to calibrate yourself again to that childlike capacity for being fully present to your senses. Show me what you got. And as we do things on automatic, we get older, so many things we just don't pay attention to. And the days and the weeks, and oh my gosh, we're already May 9th, coming upon the longest day of the year already, and the years go by. As my father said at this age, slow down, relax. You have an automatic functioning that continues until something out of the ordinary or dangerous occurs. So you may choose to use this course objectively, learn how to hypnotize other people, or maybe you'll use it as I intended it to, that you learn something about yourself while you're learning about how to help other people achieve their goals too. So as you practice hypnosis, you may find yourself becoming more and more aware of your capacity to respond to suggestion. Your continued reading reflects your growing curiosity about the possibilities inherent within you. This learning is best done experientially, subjectively, and so you gain familiarity and fluidity with the natural human capacity for relaxation. Start with your own, because when you can relax, the mirror neurons of the person you're sitting beside will pick up the relaxation, and most people will say, yeah, I want some of that. How about two helpings? So, what's the problem with hypnosis? Well, some people think it's strange and unusual, mysterious, faith healers, sideshows, Hollywood hype. But for this course, hypnosis is known as a natural state. Here's our definition. All things that create a connection where the conscious and the subconscious or unconscious minds align with a single thought shall be known for the purposes of this course as hypnosis. And all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. It's a natural state. You do it all the time. Now learn how to focus and refocus your mind more fully. Become a more fully informed citizen in this great experiment of democracy, which asks each of us in a capitalist society to act upon our own interests. And I will ask you also to become aware of being selfish. I like that word. Two versions now. Remember pleasure, pain. They both occur simultaneously. There's greedy, selfish, which is all for me, forget about you, all for me, greedy, selfish. And then there's creatively selfish. Why am I giving you this hypnosis training program? There will come a day when I die. There's a time right now where I can't handle the volume of people who have need of effective suggestion. Since I can't touch every one of them, my creatively selfish gift is to give this to you so that you can use your mind more effectively and you can touch more people than I could ever imagine touching. And I can thank you very much for being a vehicle for what I consider to be a divine spark of creative intelligence, seeking to create greater good on the planet. Look around. See what needs to be done. See what needs to be done to have more fun and create more pleasure, and then do it. Well, that's part of my motto anyway. Here's another one. If it's not fun, don't do it. Now, that's a terrible suggestion. We'll look at that one later and tear it apart. Well, so what's a hypnotist if hypnosis is a natural state? Well, wonders await those who explore the mysteries of the mind. The misinformation about the nature of suggestion and response leads the public to believe that a hypnotist has some magic power. Let me get out my magic wand. Only the mind. The mystical magical powers of the mind. I am trained to give detailed awareness to semantics, voice inflection, body movement, breathing, and generating mental expectancy. I want to look for what you want. And then I want to hold it up in front of you and I want to notice how you respond to it. Are you eager? If you are, what are you doing sitting in front of me? Why aren't you out the door getting it? Oh, maybe you came to see me because there's something more that you'd like to do and something is holding you back. And it makes sense. Whatever it is that you are doing makes perfect sense because you're using the form of trance that has worked for you as best you can up until this moment. And it may be time to change your mind about all those little things that don't quite work so good so that you can, well, maybe you've tried on glasses at an eye doctor, or maybe you've just had an eye exam and the doctor says, is this better or is this better? How about this or this? The human mind is comparative. The scientific human mind compares this and that, light and dark, male and female, and we measure things according to this bifurcated awareness of, is it working or is it not? Is it getting me what I want? Is it not what I want? And the three brains, yeah, I'll get back to that again. The old brain, the newer brain, and the newest brain really have two purposes. Good food, good sex. All those one-celled beings banded together, and we still have this wonderful biome in the gut with the same bioelectric and biochemical activities going on as we have on the other end of the spine, the newest kid, the neocortex. So down here, I've got this old brain. Is it good for me? Can I eat it? Can I have sex with it? And here, the newer brain. Oh, maybe I will actually care for the people I am dining with, or dining on, or making love with. Oh, and then there's the neocortex, which is even better food and sex. So, old brain, newest brain. We are, for the purposes of this class, going to consider the entire body to have a wisdom of its own. So, my job, your job, as a hypnotist is to learn the methods for bypassing your critical faculty and establishing selective thinking so that your mind dwells instead of like a light bulb, like a laser upon that which you desire. Oh, let's go primitive. Notch your bow, draw back, let your arrow of mind fly, and then move on with your daily activities. So, here's the common misconceptions about hypnosis. The hypnotist has strange and unknown powers. That's fun to play with. I might give up control to the hypnotist. I might get stuck. I might do things I normally wouldn't do. I might tell secrets. I might get hurt. I will be unconscious, unaware, unable to move, think, speak, say, hear anything. I can't be hypnotized. So, those are the biggest misconceptions, the most common misconceptions of hypnosis. As you become more and more aware of what hypnosis is and isn't, you become more and more aware of how suggestions affect you, about your response to suggestion and how you deliver them. So, how do we debunk these myths? If you fail to debunk those myths of hypnosis, people can be afraid of it. They can be afraid of you. Don't look me in the eye. Ooh, get thee behind me. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I've encountered that and worse. And I've been using hypnosis since I was pre-puberty. I think I turned out okay. I completed a doctorate. I got a license. I'm sharing things that work with you, and that for 16 years now, I have provided under the supervision of the president of the County Medical Association, Dr. Raymond McKnight, MD. He's a guy who believes that the innermost mind, that spiritual medicine is the wave of the current state of reality, that allopathic medicine, which is cut, stitch, heal, is necessary to buy time. And I concur. So, what can we say about hypnosis? We have to debunk it because the one thing that will cause a person to fail to respond to suggestion is fear, lack of trust, those types of things, and the person's not going to be open to what you have to say. You need to educate yourself and others. And you need to find out what the person knows about hypnosis, which is why I asked you, what do you know about hypnosis in the beginning? We need to do a round robin and find out what that is. That would be very entertaining. I hope you all did your journaling so that we have wonderful feedback. Or if you like, and I like this too, say the first thing that comes to mind and notice how easy or difficult that is. So that when you're asking your clients questions, you know what it's like to run into the wall. Or have it just come out and then have something right behind it and then something right behind it. But the first thing that came out was the real one. And the others were cover-up stories. So before you try a hypnosis induction, find out what the person knows about hypnosis, their misconceptions, educate them. You debunk those myths and establish a collaborative relationship, and that is rapport. Once we have a collaborative relationship, then I can be of greater service to you. So, what are the facts about hypnosis? Well, I've been saying it repeatedly. All hypnosis is self hypnosis. It's not something I do to you. Notice that I have a relaxed position. My feet are on the floor, my hands are on my thighs. I can wiggle my shoulders a bit more, and I can actually let my hands drop a bit, and I have assumed a relaxed position. I've also brought myself to sit on the edge of my chair so that my body's on the sit bone. I've also imagined that my spine is like a string of pearls, and there is a light beam that goes all the way up, up, up to the hand of God. Yes, I am a spiritual monist. I believe all things come from a divine presence, and I believe that we are here as sparks of divine intelligence to help each other. As a hypnotist, I am here to assist you with tools and skills that humans throughout history have found to be useful, helpful in creative, rapid transformation for human growth and development. In hypnosis, the subject becomes much more aware of his or her perceptions than in full waking state. Rather than restricting the senses, hypnosis tends to expand and magnify the senses with particular enhanced selectivity for the focus of intention, the focus of attention. What is your focus of intention? What are you here for? A hypnotic subject cannot be made to do anything or say anything that would be damaging to the self because at some level you're always aware. Inside each person is a knowing that knows everything about that person and knows that it knows. At some level, the individual is always aware and in control. You can choose to accept or reject any idea or suggestion that you determine is unacceptable. Let me apologize in advance because I speak clearly. And if I say anything that offends you, just reject those ideas, throw them away. Use only the ideas that you find that work, that fit, that work the best for you, like good shoes. If my words are too tight, like a blister on you, throw it away. Put on comfortable shoes. Let your mind replace any words that I might give you that would be inappropriate for you with the words that your subconscious mind needs to hear in order to achieve your objective. What are you here for today? A hypnotized person cannot be made to do anything against your personal, moral, or religious beliefs. You won't tell me any secrets you don't want known, and people lie. Imagine that. There are things people do when they lie. We'll be talking about that in some of the more advanced classes, and even if it unfolds in this class, I'll be pointing it out because I am an opportunistic hypnotist, and I'd rather show you what I see as it's unfolding so that you learn to recognize the signs too. People in hypnosis laugh, cry, move, open and close their eyes. That's helpful. That's called deepening and fractionation. We'll talk more about that. People in hypnosis talk, think, feel just like you do in full waking state. And you know, the subject, you must be aware at some level for this to be able to work. For you to be able to hear that the suggestions are your suggestions and for them to work and tune out the ones that don't work or aren't yours, you must be able to see in the mind's eye, hear with your inner ear, perceive with an inner knowing. And so I'm talking to you now. Yeah, that's right. You, the conscious and the unconscious minds. I want you to listen with the third eye, the third ear. Listen, the third ear. See with the third eye. Feel with that inner knowing, that proprioceptive awareness of what's right and what's not. What's good for you and what's not. Trust yourself. Move toward pleasure. Move away from pain. Dwell upon the pleasure. That which you desire comes to you. That which you hold upon the center of your mind tends to be fixed more firmly upon the mind of the divine, and more clearly can you align yourself. Although the hypnotic methods focused on in this manual involve the use of relaxation, the experience of hypnosis is not limited to relaxation. Again, you find it in sports or hopping music when everybody's in the envelope or in the groove and having their music flowing out and they're as one. So hypnosis is also recognized, when you know what to look for, in states of heightened capacity, arousal, physical activity, and being in the zone of your own peak performance. Now, are there people that don't come back to full waking state? Yeah. Why? Because it feels good, feels better than waking state does, and maybe they need a little bit more time. So how do we get someone out of that state? Well, Orman McGill had some marvelous way to do it. If someone has stayed in trance quite some time, he would whisper in the ear. You've been here quite some time. Perhaps your bladder would like some relief. Why don't you rouse yourself and go to the bathroom in the bathroom? Or something along those lines. He was much more elegant than that presentation I just gave you. Here's one I have found useful. My goodness, you're really enjoying this state. That's fine. You can stay as long as you like. There's someone in the waiting room and you can pay for their session and yours, so you can pay double for this upcoming hour. And you can stay as long as you like. Yes, people do stick around even with that suggestion. And during class, if you want, or catch me afterwards, we can have conversations about case presentation of people who didn't want to come back right away. So you can't get stuck in hypnosis any more than you can get stuck in sleep. Now, if you're depressed and you're sleeping a lot or at odd hours, hypnosis, basic hypnosis, this direct suggestion course is for healthy people seeking to improve some aspect of their lives. If you're running into depression and you're having those dark thoughts, then a visit to a mental health worker or your GP or even a psychiatrist would be recommended to have an evaluation to make sure that you're in a comfortable place. In hypnosis, the critical faculty of the mind is bypassed and the imaginative faculty is engaged. The critical faculty is the judge and censor of the unconscious mind, and when it's bypassed, selective thinking to help improve performance and overcome blockages can be established. The subject, that's you, that's me, I'm a good hypnotic subject, will bypass the critical faculty when there's a sufficient level of self-trust and other trust developed between the hypnotist and the subject. So when you trust yourself and when you trust your hypnotist or your subject, then a very good rapport unfolds for that bounded and unbounded environment of creative and spontaneous growth and development. The sufficient level of trust is known as rapport. As you learn to establish better rapport with yourself and others, you will find it easier and easier to explore deep, profound relaxation. And through this relaxation, a more direct communication or communion with your inner wisdom is reestablished. It's always there. Everything you need is inside you. And if it's not right inside you, you can attract it by building upon that which you desire. Let it come for you. The ability to self-regulate oneself with a relaxed feeling of well-being allows for the hypnotist to establish and maintain a safe, bounded, and unbounded environment within which the process of growth and development expands in ways that transcend the wisdom of the members physically present. Rapport can come about through direct suggestion, waking suggestion, or any of the innumerable natural occurrences which you may have referred to as hypnosis, trance, meditation, prayer, relaxation, bliss, rapport, contentment, well-being, empathy, compassion, peak performance, and epiphany. Let it happen. Want it now. Want it to happen. Watch it happen. Allow it to happen. You are familiar with hypnosis because it occurs naturally when you are under stress, thinking deeply, half asleep and half awake, driving, reading. Anytime the deep creative resources of the inner mind are called forth. You are particularly sensitive to suggestion and response in times of repetition, intense emotion, powerful longing, and feelings of identification. As you participate in this course, become aware of how your response to the exercises changes with repetition. In hypnosis, you know everything going on, and you know that you know. You know what you are saying, hearing, doing. Your perception capacities become enhanced, as does your ability to focus or defocus. The sounds of the world around you become background sounds that reassure you all's well in the outside world. You're safe to go deeper into hypnosis. Imagine that the sky is blue and all things float away like little puffy clouds on a beautiful day. Should anything occur which requires your immediate attention, you are immediately alert and ready to respond with full capacity for now. Just float, drift, relax, become aware. While practicing hypnosis, you can speak, move, laugh, cry, blink, yawn because you are always in control. At some level, just like any form of exercise, every time you practice self-hypnosis, you achieve a better response. You go deeper and faster than the time before. Now, trust yourself. The more you relax, the deeper you go. The deeper you go, the more you relax. And good. The better the response, the deeper you go into your knowing. Each and every moment, each and every time, easier, deeper, faster, and better than the time before. And it calls you to listen, listen, listen. Deep inside, there is a wisdom. I'm talking to you now. And you are curious. Perhaps so curious, and perhaps you're becoming more aware of your natural responses known as hypnosis. The quality of response varies from person to person, from moment to moment. Once we review and erase all the misconceptions and false beliefs about hypnosis, no power on earth can prevent you from responding to positive and helpful suggestions for relaxation. When the body relaxes, the whole system can function more easily. You're always in control. You can't be made to tell secrets you don't want known. You cannot be forced or coerced into doing something that is against your personal, moral, or religious beliefs. You can't get stuck in hypnosis any more than you can get stuck in natural sleep in hypnosis. You have a greater awareness of self. You can change your awareness of time and be there, already 5 minutes beyond the successful outcome of all that, whatever all that is, for the purposes of these hypnosis experiences. And all those other hypnosis experiences you choose to use today, tomorrow, for the rest of your life, for as long as you choose. That thought process, that experience of living, and what are the first things you notice in the 5 minutes beyond the successful outcome of all that stuff? Once you have recognized the many, many, many times you already have used self-hypnosis successfully and automatically in the past, you can learn how to use it consciously for greater good, self-awareness, and satisfaction. And the reason you don't recognize the state is because you generally don't discuss it with people. It's such a natural state that you take it for granted like your heartbeat. You go in and out of the relaxed state of hypnosis automatically when you drive, read, run up a flight of stairs, zip a zipper, all automatically. And today you are being formally trained to recognize it the way you were trained to know the alphabet, word identification, sentence structure of written and spoken material. So as you read or listen to these words, you're using reading and listening trance, and you understand what words are meant to symbolize through repetitive practice. You learn to read by focusing your attention on letters, words, and sentences until the process became automatic. You observed and perceived sounds, body language, intonation, pacing, and behavior until you mastered that art of communication, that cultural, familial, and temporal context, until you mastered the art of, well, you know what I'm talking about. Deep inside, there's all those places where you know because you were raised to do it. And then there's the parts where you know what you know because you're biologically born to it. And today, you're getting a formal training on how you get your mind power to work more fully for you. So when you pay attention, you may find that you rarely stop to think about how you do what you do and why you do all the things you do. And when you do them, you just do them. And the things you do automatically are done because you have at some point in time trained yourself to them so well that they are done in trance. So when you pay attention, that is mindfulness, awareness of self. You didn't leap from your mother's womb, reading, cooking, driving. You taught yourself numerous steps so well that you are now able to do these things automatically. As you learn language skills to describe this simple and much used mind power, you can automatically reconnect with how you think and feel. You will notice that it is different from what other people say you are supposed to think or feel because you're engaging your mind more fully. What is life really all about when you think and feel using your own perceptions and senses completely right now? Use your senses completely, realign with what is instead of what if. This is the objective of an existential, humanistic approach to hypnosis and hypnotherapy. It is based upon the Gestalt concepts of Fritz Perls. Hypnosis and meditation are similar in the goal of ease, peace of mind, and relaxation. The difference between meditation and hypnosis is the purpose of intent. The intent of some forms of meditation is nothingness, oneness with the all-knowing void. Some meditations seek to be completely in the moment, perceiving with fresh eyes, putting aside preconceived notions so as to trust one's senses and perceptions. The purpose of hypnosis is to relax the conscious mind so that the natural functioning of the subconscious and superconscious are focusing their creative powers on achieving a particular goal or set of goals at this time. Allow yourself to align with the mission most dear to your higher purpose, your innermost driving, aligning for the best for all involved. Instead of trying hard and fearing failure or success, you can learn. You are learning. Each and every day in every way, you are learning more fully how to relax and let the subconscious mind work with, instead of against, your conscious plans. The logical mind can come up with all kinds of reasons and excuses for failing. When properly applied, the same mind can come up with just as many reasons for success, relaxed enjoyment of living, and peak performance strategies. All people have an ability to respond to hypnosis, and you are equal to any human being, living or dead, that ever inhabited this planet. When you want to respond to hypnosis and you are temporarily out of control, stop trying. Let it happen. Let it happen to the best of your ability. At that moment, breathe. Pay close attention to the response of your senses, your sensual response. What you hear, see, smell, feel, taste, touch, imagine, perceive, experience, breathe. You are an air-breathing mammal. Hypnosis is subjective. You will experience it in your own unique way. Some things you will have in common with other people who experience hypnosis. Some things will be idiosyncratic or unique to you. Sometimes you will notice a certain familiarity or predictability in the type of response you experience. You may reach plateaus in your capacity and practice with self and others. At other times, you may notice your response to hypnosis gradually shifting to something new or radically changing. Perhaps you look back on it and think, wow, I changed back there, all for the better. When you invest yourself in taking a basic hypnosis course every so often, you will hear familiar information and you will also begin to hear it in ways that you did not recognize or identify when you first started this formal study of hypnosis. Trust yourself, discover the wonder of being a lifelong learner in this amazing subject of human growth and development. This is a natural state. Hypnosis is a natural state. All humans can benefit from skills training to be able to articulate and identify hypnotic phenomena and harness it for its remarkable applications to learning, test taking, creativity, peak performance, preparation for surgery and recovery, accelerated healing, business and personal relationships, and spiritual development. The biggest payoff of experiencing hypnosis, and the one thing all people who practice the skills of this course have in common, is a deep, profound relaxation which becomes an automatic reflex with practice. If you don't respond completely to suggestions or relaxation at this time, you're only responding to the situation at that time. That doesn't mean you're a poor subject. It means that circumstances or the hypnotist were uncomfortable to you at that time for whatever reason. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis practice. Each practice will allow you to experience a deeper and deeper sense of self-awareness. As a hypnotist, it is your job to excite the imagination, implanting the expectation of results, and your own mind power is the source of the response. Your mind is the source of the patterns of your life. Are you getting what you want right now? Take a moment. Think about how life would be if you had all that stuff resolved. 5 minutes beyond the successful outcome of all that stuff. Daydream for a moment. What is it like in your ideal future of self and lived experiences? Are you moving in the direction of that which allows you to achieve those ideals and dreams? If not, what will it take to flow in the direction of your ideal outcomes? And how will you know it when you get there? What will you see, hear, feel, smell, and taste? And in what order do you notice the context of yourself in relation? That which is thought tends to occur. That which is expected tends to be realized. The creative forces of imagination are set into motion by the power of your thoughts. Self-hypnosis is a key that opens the door to the treasure house in your mind, the part that knows everything about you and knows that it knows. Each and every time you practice self-hypnosis, you go deeper and faster than the time before. Want that to happen? Watch it happen. Allow it happen. Each and every breath and blink creates a greater rhythm, a balance with the breathing and the heart, and a wonderful rhythm with all the systems of the body and mind, and spirit. You may be pleasantly surprised, perhaps delighted, as your life unfolds and you find amazing and wonderful things in every day, even when there are storm clouds and challenges on the horizon or overhead. Things pass, days and nights pass, time passes. We are all mortal. We live most fully in each moment, and allow yourself to be aware of the full extent of what it means to be human, to be connected and one with the larger being of humanity. And in a moment, I will count from 5 to 1. I would like you to come all the way back to full waking state with a wonderful feeling of well-being. Number 5, coming all the way back to full waking state with a wonderful feeling of well-being. Number 4, feeling as if you've been bathed in fresh spring water. Number 3, calmly, easily, gently, beautifully, wonderfully coming back to full waking state, feeling better than you felt in some time. Want that to happen. Watch it happen. Allow it to happen. Number 2, remembering to forget the things you don't need to remember. Number 1, eyes open. Take a good deep breath. Reach out and stretch, feeling wonderfully good all over and good and excellent. And now, perhaps you'd like to get a glass of water to drink and write in your journal for 20 minutes or so. And we will come back and we will share that experience. Thank you so much.